It's a stage freeze.
Everyone thinks it's... yes, hello everyone.
Hello, world. Whoever's watching us, hi.
Don't want to say that. Yeah.
We really got to come up with a better intro for this thing because this is just it's not working.
But what can we do?
Maybe you should write out the first little bit like Mikey does, and then roll into it from there. At least 3 sentences.
Real. But that's more natural. That's my. I'm just setting the tone.
Well, I'll tell you,
setting the tone of my mood.
I expected a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fair to understand. Yeah, they acquitted themselves very well with the formation that everyone was very puzzled by at the start, and the team selection. And they did quite well for the first half. I thought it wasn't bad at all. Yeah. I was more disappointed that we then changed it because it seems to be, if it's not broke, why fix it? But we did. And then we seem to invite them on. And they say, not to denigrate the general performance, because the general performance was good, but I think by making that change in the last half an hour, we ended up inviting them on. And like we've said on many, many, many occasions, if you do that, we'll end up conceding in the last few moments of the game, because it's just a numbers game at that point. But that's just my opinion. Otherwise, though, I thought the first half we played really well. Which is a shame, but that's just a shame that we
forced
changed
4 saves in the first half, right?
Yeah. It's such a shame that we actually changed it. Because
Indeed.
It seems to be working quite nicely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's one of those losses for me that just I want to be mad, but at the same time, like, I don't think we had any business still being in the game at the end, even though we played well. Just with the setup, I thought that we were just inviting misery on ourselves. I was pretty pleased that everybody, Hover, like, am I saying it right? I don't know. I'm bad at these things, but he.
I don't know. Hover, he does look good.
And he made especially that. I know we played well everywhere, but the standout to me is the darting run that he made when he just saw a green space and just ran into it. And almost put a positive play in there, but I might just be tired too. I don't know.
I think we're all tired and all a bit.
There's been a lot going on, but it's a loss to like 4 of the best attacking players in the world. Like, they didn't pull any punches today. United didn't. So, I'm a big Marcus Rashford fan on and off the pitch. So if you're not okay with that, I don't care. I think he's a great guy.
I'm indifferent to. I don't think he's that great personally, but I know I'll be in the minority.
He's a member of the Order of the British Empire.
Agreed.
So he's not too bad, is he? He's not too bad.
There's people who've gone to jail with that honour and higher.
Yes.
Well, he'll go to jail with that honour and a goal against Wolves to seal all 3 points. First time we've lost to United, right? Since coming up.
Yes, it in the Premier League. Yes, that's the fifth game. That's the, I think, 8th game against United we've had. 2 defeats. I think it's been 2-1-2, drew 4, lost 2 in obviously the 5 Premier League games and the 3 FA Cup games. So it's even Stevens basically all round.
It's just a weird day when it's Coutinho that's like charging into the box to try and get that glancing header to get that opening goal.
Indeed. Yeah, it just feels a bit, as I say, it feels, well, what else can be said but gutting.
It's like freezing to death, you just kind of feel warm and fuzzy at the end, and then it's over. You're like, whatever, I'll take my fate.
No, indeed, I think, as I say, just from my perspective, considering Manchester United and the attacking menace they have, we were phenomenal in defence. I think pretty much right up until right up until the goal went in and so forth.
Well,
Of
the
course,
biggest
it would.
surprise was they didn't give that penalty against Cody. You thought for
No,
sure.
who would have
then-
a video system referee decision going our way is quite something, I have to say. But it would have been extremely harsh, I think, as it was clearly non-intentional, and I think the referee and VAR saw it that way, which felt nice. I just have to say, but just generally gutted with how that ended. Did not deserve
Yeah.
it at
It's
all.
a gut punch.
I did
And
not.
especially when it was off of Seiss, who's outstanding. Maybe even man of
He
the match.
he got given man of the match.
I think
It was
we
like
could.
as soon as I said to my wife Ali, as soon as they gave Seiss man of the match, they said, "You know what's going to happen? Something's going to basically he will be involved in them scoring a goal." And lo and behold, it happened. Which is a real shit because he was very good. And he really was. He was also possibly our main attacking player. As well as
he
Indeed.
played all 90 last 2 days ago, right?
I think he did. I think so. Yes, it was.
He's a great player. He's an absolute great player. I really, really like him.
Don't ask Paul Lambert.
Well, you know my thoughts on Paul Lambert.
I know everybody's thoughts on Paul
apart
Lambert.
from
Actually, I'll tell you what. When he started, well, I'll just tell you this. When he started at Wolves, he invited in some people to come and have a chat with him. I was one of those people. Barefaced lied to us about how he was going to play football, how he wanted attacking football, and how he wanted to keep the crowd on their feet. Then played absolute turgid crap for his entire tenure. He was just a liar.
Indeed, yeah.
You were.
As yeah, but as I say,
the good news is though, like it looks like our young guys are going to win us the FA Cup. Like it's happening.
Yeah,
So
well,
I
think first of all, I think we could probably all. Would we all agree firstly on maybe get man of the match out of the way? But I think Seiss basically accept the goal. What a two absolutely outstanding games in a row now. He basically, except from that small, just shuts a silly unlucky deflection. Did not put a foot wrong again tonight. And again, it was just, and he again had 2 or 3 good attempts as well when it came to him from set pieces. He's beginning to be a real threat from set pieces. That's exactly, I think, what we've all been hoping, that we were able to have someone who's a fox in the box.
The way he's able to manipulate the ball off of him, like he looks like a striker in those situations. He's it's amazing just the dip that he gets, or like his little touch there that almost squirted in, on the first set piece. So he's like, his goal against Millwall a couple years ago.
Yeah, the Boxing Day 2017 from 35 yards. What an absolute
out of nowhere.
thunderbolt.
He's what's that guy, Randy Orton, in wrestling, that does his RKO move out of nowhere, just when you least expect it, strikes like a viper. Like
yeah, something like that was beautiful.
Wrestling reference. I know you guys love it.
Yeah, his performance was he basically managed. It was like a proper brick wall. It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic. And the fact that he has had to be in defence when Bolly is one of 5 players who are currently out injured, 5 of our big players in Jimenez, Johnny, then Donker Marçal and Bolly, which essentially
is smaller.
We got 3 defenders who are out injured currently. 3 defenders, and it goes to show it when we
didn't really miss them. I know it sounds harsh, but we didn't.
I know, I know.
Which is a good thing because that shows strength.
We've been clamoring
in
for
those positions.
More Kilman.
Kilman again, I think, wasn't too shabby neither himself, and was able to just do what he needs to do.
Well, let's talk about the shabby.
The shabby.
I know you defended him. I just don't feel like Traore offers us anything right now.
Mm.
I disagree. I thought he played pretty well in his role that he was playing. I thought he was not the worst of the ones up front. I thought Neto didn't have his best game.
I don't know if we saw.
Podence came on. Who I love Podence, but he came on and he didn't.
I forgot he was there.
Yeah,
he
Daniel. Daniel
did,
has
and
had two very quiet games.
Silva came on. Didn't look. He looked a bit ropey in this game, but then he's young. He's young, and he's going to have games where he doesn't have any.
He looked his age.
Yeah.
Mm. And also Adama does. I don't know if we mentioned this on following Sunday. I don't know what day it is, considering it's 20 to 11. But he does. Yeah, he did. Obviously, he only does have a foot niggle, which he's had for a little while now. Adama. The fact he's been able to play through that is a testament to himself that he wants to play. He again got a few decent crosses in and running it a little bit, not as much as on the weekend because United's defence was fairly stern. And he could have been through if it wasn't. I think it was for Bailly who managed to get in a cracking slide tackle. I think it was pick of United's defenders tonight, Eric Bailly. But in fact, he obviously, no doubt, probably a bit of confidence, not considering he hasn't been able to score so far or get an assist. Obviously, no big man in
almost a year, right?
Front. It has, yeah, which is
not his assist, but his goal
is the concern here. But who knows how we could go about it? And so we need again that fox in the box up front. Whilst Rao is able to, whilst Rao is recovering. No doubt Rao will be back and he'll do his job when he does. But we do need someone, I think, fairly quick. And definitely, right, 15 goals from 16 league games is obviously a big concern. And as we were able to say, get someone in who can then obviously have that service too from, say, Adama, from Pedro, from Daniel, maybe from Vitinha, who I have to say wasn't too shabby for league debut. I think nice and tidy.
I thought he was all right for the first half, but before just the second half, before he went off, he disappeared completely.
Maybe he knew he was coming off, perhaps.
But then that also might have been the change of tactics that we seemed to employ in the second half. So it could well have been that just nullified him completely out of the game.
Yeah.
Like, do you just get the feeling that you just, as much as you pay attention to this stuff and Bod, I don't think anybody's in the mix, so to speak, as much as you are, like, as far as like just gathering opinions. Like, does anybody really know like what's going on? Like, do you feel like you understand, like I know we talk about it all the time, just like the product we put on the field, like like before the match when we saw the team sheet, I was sure we'd give up 10, and then it's essentially was a 0-0 draw with 4 of the best, attackers on the world coming at us the whole time. But then, you go out and you lose like 4-0 to West Brom in a few weeks. So
oh, please do not start that. You'll have the mix absolutely coming at you from all directions.
Most of them already hate me anyway, so I think we're all right.
I think a few of the older male, pale and stale fans, I think, hate me a little bit for being a bit raucous and being a bit honest myself. But there we are. What can I do?
David,
it's not a migraine. You just went fuzzy. Don't worry.
I was going to say, I seem to have gone into soft focus.
Very fuzzy.
What's happened there?
You're very out of focus. Anyone got a piece of paper doing some white balance checks here?
Try that again.
there we are.
Don't know what happened there.
Great.
Sorry about
That's
that.
Great.
But
It made me look a lot younger. Sorry, anyway. Yes.
I forget where I was going with that, but I don't know. I just feel like more than ever, I just have no idea what's going on. Like how we can get like any kind of. The only consistency is that there's nobody in the box when we're putting our crosses in. We just can't find them. So except for Sice.
I think we've said that for a while though. When we've been chatting on these things, I've said
every day
is the whole thing about the whole team moving forwards as a team and backwards as a team. So it moves up the pitch together and moves back down the pitch together. we stopped doing it. We've stopped doing it for a long time now, and that's just. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why that is. Is it voices in the coaches? Different voices being listened to? Is it different voices not being listened to? Is it
Potentially.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. It's just strange that we don't do that. I mean, I don't want to take away from the performance today because the performance on the whole was actually quite good.
Yeah.
But we were never going to score. We could still be playing now. We wouldn't have scored unless we got lucky off a set piece. And that you can't. It's not good setting your stall around being lucky off a set piece. Well, good off a set piece. You know, otherwise it becomes pop
yeah.
Burnley. But
And that's why obviously this transfer window is absolutely crucial, and it in a sense doesn't surprise me that I think we on Sky Bet at least we are favourites to get Diego Costa extraordinarily after he terminated his contract with Atletico Madrid this afternoon. We are in fact I think 6-4 favourites to get him in, and I think as I mentioned on Sunday's call that he would be someone who, yeah, he may be a bit unpopular in some quarters, but he does the job when he has the minutes and is able to get into those positions, and when he gets the service, he's one of those strikers of whom, on his day, he's been one of Europe's probably best strikers, and to say 9 major honours to at 32 is a pretty decent record. And even obviously, if it means maybe obviously a dressing room climate being a bit different, we need goals. Because to say 15 goals in 16 league games is no doubt our biggest concern. We've got the capability of producing much, much more. It's just a case of we need that. There is a missing link in terms of trying to achieve that. And that's why we hope that this January transfer window is absolutely mega in terms of who comes through. And I say someone.
But we could buy 2 fantastic strikers. That will improve our goal potential. Yeah. Yes, but not massively. Because we weren't exactly setting the goal scoring charts alight when Raul was still available. We've actually got to play with the mindset that we want to score more than 1 goal.
Yes, we do.
I seriously believe our mentality is score 1 more goal than the opposition, and that will do. And that, I don't think any team will ever get anywhere or go. When I say won't get anywhere, that's not true. Won't get to the top. And I know someone will say Arsenal did playing 1-0. Well, that was 20, 30 years ago, so we'll ignore that.
Indeed.
We used to play half-backs and centre rights and all sorts and play with a pig leather ball on a plate of mud where they could break each other's legs. You know, it's all in the past. At the moment, I don't think, and on the whole, any team that only really sets out to score 1 more goal or just 1 goal is going to succeed in the long term. We might survive. I don't think we'll ever go down doing that. But if you want to move on and go to the next level, it's not just buying another striker that's going to fix it. It is a bit more than that. It's got a mentality, and I don't think buying a striker on its own is going to actually fix the current issues. We probably need a centre half that's pacey to allow everyone to move up the pitch further. As much as our centre halves are all good at being defenders, there's no lightning quick one there. I'd say probably Saïs is possibly the quickest. Maybe Kilman as the actual centre halves. So as long as we've got slower centre halves, as I say, not bad defenders, great defenders in fact, but you can't. But it's easier to exploit them because there isn't that pace there.
Yep.
If you've got that pace there, then that probably means that the midfield can move further up the pitch. The whole team can move further up the pitch. This perhaps is why I was just on about the whole team moving forwards and backwards. Is why we don't move the team forwards and backwards, because we haven't got that pace at the back to actually be able to cover. I don't know. I mean, it's just my thoughts, but I'm not sure signing 1 striker is going to suddenly transform our season completely. It'll it'll make us feel more comfortable and make us look more comfortable. I agree, but not really much more than that. I don't think we've been moving forwards.
It's like, what do you think is the master plan that they're putting into place, if there is one?
I'm not sure.
Like, that's kind of what they've been alluding to, is that it's not just an evolution, not just of a formation, but like of personnel or philosophies. I don't know, but
I'm not sure.
What are we gonna look like in August of next year? You know.
I have a feeling we'll look much the same, just with another striker on the books. Sorry.
That makes me sad.
Sorry. However, though, I mean, it depends where Hoover ends up playing as a wing back, or whether he a full back or a centre half. He plays as a centre half. He's no slouch. So he's that sort of player who we would need in the back line to give us a bit more ability to move up the pitch.
It's going to be a fascinating. Once Johnny returns from injury, we're going to have two very, very fascinating battles, at least in terms of wing backs, in terms of Johnny against Marcel against Out-Nari down that left hand side, and then obviously Hoover against Semedo. And as to say, Hoover, Kayana did a pretty good job tonight. Obviously, I think Nelson was probably rested to. No doubt, obviously, less than 48 hours between two games is ridiculous. So understandable why. But I certainly think the young man did a very, very good job. And we can see why we wanted him for quite some time. And so quite versatile as well going forward, being able to run in as well with the ball, which is one really neat thing. And to say, and Connor was given a huge amount of encouragement. It's exactly, I think, what we wanted to see in terms of, again, that leadership from our captain is nothing short of phenomenal. And I think if Nuno wanted to put him at centre back, then it would be, I think, it's an extremely good option, because of imagine potentially a Hoover, Cody and Kilman back three, or obviously Bolly in there as well, provided it isn't injury ravaged or what. We'll have some very decent options as well with his versatility. So a very decent performance from the Dutchman, of who still feels extremely strange that FA Cup tie nearly 2 years ago now, early Jan last year in 2019, I had to write his name on the back of the programme. He wasn't even on the back. He wasn't even listed in Liverpool's side ahead of the game, and then he was put on the subs bench, and I had to frantically get the pen out and scribble it on. And then of course he then came on because of that injury in the 7th minute to whomever it was. So, but he's a good one to have. I think he definitely has his versatility. I think it will be very, very useful.
Did we all go with Sace for man of the match, by the way?
Yes, I think that's clear and obvious.
Yeah, just double checking. Sorry, I was just.
At least
I thought Patricio played a good game too, but you have to give it to Sace, who's just everywhere.
Yep.
Even there at the end.
Indeed, even if obviously at the end it was slightly forlorn and whatever and gutting, but Sace was just nothing short of brilliant. I'd probably say second place would be to Patricio, because he came up with, again, a couple of really very, very decent saves, and did what he needed to do. And obviously the goal was, what could he do in such a situation when it gets such a big deflection at the end? I don't know if it was given to Rashford or it went down as the Sace own goal. I think it went
given to Rashford. I think it was given to Rashford. I'm not sure.
Let's have a look. Let me try and have a look.
It was on target all the way.
Indeed, it has been given to Marcus Rashford. In a game which also had only 2 yellow cards in it, which is nice. A fairly clean game of football, which is always.
Even though Maguire had like 4 cardable offences.
And Fingy was albed, and Pedro Neto was albed in the face.
Same every time, isn't it? Old slabhead.
Yeah, and when Pedro Neto was elbowed right in the neck and in the face, and VAR did nothing about it, of course.
I can't even get annoyed about it anymore. It just happens too often. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested in their bloody VR nonsense anymore. It's just stupid.
Indeed.
They don't seem to. I don't know what they're watching at the time. The guy stepped across him, clearly stepped across him. Now, okay, I don't think it was necessarily the yellow card. I don't think he elbowed him, but he definitely stepped across him. So it was no more than a yellow card if if you're going to give anything.
But for nothing to be given for an elbow in the face.
Well, was it an elbow? Anyway, either way, he did step across him deliberately, which you could see. He stepped across into the guy's path. So, well, that's a foul. There's no two ways about it. That is just a foul. But, you know, I genuinely can't be bothered with it. And just, you know, it gets to the point where you can't, it's just pointless talking about them anymore because you know that if that was the other way around, it would have been the card.
Yeah, indeed. I think it's
it's just
blatantly obvious.
Yeah, again, it's just like,
Hey, something else about this week is I just miss full stadiums. I miss people in the grounds. Like
and it
I
pains
had
me.
hoped that it would be a half capacity by now, and you know,
And
I know we said a lot longer.
It pains me to say that it seems quite fairly likely that we're going to have a stay-at-home order slapped on us tomorrow. Yay! It seems much more.
That was coming. We'll be locked down tomorrow.
Much more of England is going to be put into this tier 4, and there's also plans of
tier 5. Are they going to just keep inventing new tiers?
There may be a tier 5, which would mean schools being off and various other places also being closed as well. So it's again, it's getting extreme now. There are 53,000 cases today alone reported, which I think was like 11,000 above yesterday. So it's a huge increase.
Florida for us.
Yeah, and in fact, we've got hospitals on standby. We've got these emergency hospitals called Nightingales, which can't be used because there isn't enough staff going around, which is extremely frightening. And there was also a fair bit of talk, which I think has been now distanced from in the papers, tomorrow's papers, from having a look at the back pages. That's suggestions that the Prem may have to make a decision or two because of COVID hitting various other clubs, as shown with Everton City's game being postponed last night, and talks of Spurs against Fulham also being called off tomorrow.
I take it back. I'm happy to not have the fans.
Yeah.
Don't shut my football down again. I've got nothing. I don't want to go through another late winter, early spring with no sports. It was so depressing.
It'd be so depressing.
I was staying up until 3 a.m. so I could watch Korean baseball. I was watching Korean baseball. It's ridiculous. Like
you're watching Korean baseball. Oh my goodness!
At the beginning, when I went months without sport, and then finally in May there was baseball.
Wow, goodness me!
Well, surely that would have alleviated the boredom.
But
Sorry.
The big suggestion is, or rumor is, that the Premier League's board is, if cases keep continuing nationally, which I think they might do, who knows for how long, and obviously if more folks in the Premier League get infected, then there is some talk of a 2-week breather, which they would say they would put in because of the situation, and obviously therefore trying to ensure that players and coaching staff and what weren't infected. If it's only 2 weeks, then obviously it would be much better than a 3 and a bit month suspension, but still it would be quite tricky, and it is actually going to get fairly tricky for sides like Manchester City. Man City are having almost a similar season to us last season. So many games which they're behind on because of, obviously they had their extended break for Europe, and obviously a few COVID cases hit them, and obviously still a few games which, because of that extended break after their European, well, not quite exploits considering Lyon dished them over in that quarter-final. City are going to have a huge fixture pile up. At least they should give Nuno a call for some advice because they might need it. They are going to be in rather big problems if they're not careful. Please, for everybody's, particularly our well-being, we need something to look at and look forward to. And football, even if it's a pain in the backside, as shown tonight, is that for many, many people across the country and the world. And
I
I
got good
don't
news
know.
though. My 2021 calendar came in.
Ooh, Space Cats.
Cats on Food and Space.
Is
Yeah,
that
and-
Doritos, by the way, on the right-hand side, which is Wolves'
No,
former
they're
sponsor?
much too textured to be Doritos. They look like Taco Bell chips.
Right.
Taco Bell makes potato chips. Well, they're not potatoes, they're
Yes.
corn, and they are seasoned like their salsas. I'll have to try and send you a bag if I
Yeah.
can find them.
And if you
Yeah.
can get them over in the post, considering there's massive, obviously, delays with shipping and whatever because of.
Yeah, you get them by next summer.
Anyway,
Provided
going
that
back a
tastes-
point.
Yeah.
Going back a point.
Oh,
after
football!
my-
I forgot.
Yes, yeah. After my depressive prognosis on buying players, should we sign Diego Costa? What do you think?
Well, we need a
What do I think?
striker.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer. If like we can, and he wants, if he's keen, get him in. Yeah.
Yeah. Nine major honours, 32 years of age.
Is he
Like
good
putting
Is he good enough?
Seiss
though?
as a striker intrigues me right now. So that means yes, whoever wants to come in, yes.
Size is our main attacking threat at the minute, which is obviously a big worry. But yeah, we need a strike. We need a striker or two.
Should
But
we play?
he'll go to
Or should we play
Arsenal.
Seiss? Should we play Seiss up front instead?
I would not mind seeing against, what do we have, Huddersfield? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Stick him up there. Stick him up there. He's a versatile player, so
Shit house his way into the box and just
that's it.
punch it in. Why not?
But in terms of Costa, I say he's 32, 9 major honours. He scored how many other goals? And
Injuries worry me, but yeah, I would take him to heartbeat.
Do you think if we signed him, we'd need to get someone else as well?
What's Mbappe doing? I'll never let
obviously
off.
trying to get PSG back to the top of League 1, but they're struggling with obviously Tuchel being dismissed over the weekend. But it looks like Poch is heading their way, which will be a fascinating appointment.
I don't watch much League One. Sorry, I watch more League One than League One, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm keeping more of an eye on. I'm keeping an eye on
Kenny Jackett bringing Pompey up this year? Are they still first? Look out.
Pompey. League One is very fascinating. Believe it or not, Accrington Stanley have got like 4 games in hand, particularly thanks to COVID. And they're in 8th place. Yeah, they've played 16 games. Crew Alexander just below them have played 20, so they've got 4 games in hand on those two, and they're in 8th. They're only 8 points off the top, so you could see a big shot. And Lincoln City, who haven't been in the second tier since the 60s, are top, 3 points ahead of Pompey. Hull City in 3rd, Doncaster Rovers 4th, Peterborough. It's going to be there could be a couple of surprises in League One, just like how Wickham went up. In fact, Wickham are dragging themselves closer to safety. They got a very good win against Cardiff tonight. Obviously, Wickham were written off at the start of the season, but just to give leeway on that, it's very, very, very interesting. Also, Salford City are now in the playoff spots in League 2 at the moment. The class of 92, obviously, supposedly.
Bod is bored. He hates it all.
I've just had a message asking a very important question for you, Alex. Was it North Korean baseball that you were watching?
What? North Korean? No.
No, South Korea.
No, it was South. I don't know how you could watch any sport from North Korea. I would if I could. I'll put that out there.
Thank you to Paul, age 6.5.
Although, obviously, I'm thinking from seeing this in a documentary or what, but I think it was about when Western Sydney Wanderers, who are only a few seasons old as an Australian football club, Western Sydney Wanderers somehow went on to win the Asian Champions League in like their first season they ever played in the Asian Champions League. And I think one of their games was actually in North Korea, so a very limited number of fans were able to go over and obviously follow very strict.
Remember when North Korea was in the South Africa World Cup, right? Like that was insane, and throughout the qualifying process, like,
and their media, their media said they beat Brazil. The North Korean state media said they beat Brazil 1-0, which obviously was not the case. But they gave Brazil a fair go actually in that particular game, if I remember rightly.
Anyway, let's go. Sorry, let's take it all back to transfers again, because I know I kept hopping about here.
Jovic.
Is there anyone else we're linked with? I haven't really.
Still Jovic. Still Luka Jovic, of whom apparently we've had a request of some kind of request turned down, according to some rumours. Irigi's gone a little quiet since the weekend, but obviously it is what I suspect once the window opens on Friday, it's going to go a bit crazy, considering obviously, as we know where we need to improve at front, and probably maybe an attacking midfielder, who knows, and obviously hope that the other 5 who are currently out on the injury bench come back as soon as possible. And obviously with Raul, take as much time as needed, known head injury and probably known that very tender side of his head or what, but it's those 3 strikers that have been the big ones. I say, if we can land Diego Costa, that'd be, even if it's like a 6-month deal, I would rip my right arm off, because he knows where the net is, and we need that person at the minute. But there's been no one else really linked. It's quiet for now, but I would suspect come the weekend, I wouldn't be surprised that a good 3 or 4 others will then get linked, because Wolves get linked with hundreds of players every year.
Yeah, Panicophobia, Adam Rafondre, somebody big.
Maybe Alfred and Dye.
I'd take Bennett back. I'm sorry, I would get him in.
Bennett
3rd January. Get him in.
Maybe Helder Costa, some will probably say as well, and Barry Douglas, great servants in the Championship.
Yeah.
But it's all quiet for now. It's all the calm before the storm.
Well,
they're not going to sign anybody. We know it.
So will we have? So we have Costa in place for the next game, which game is it next?
It is Brighton and Hove Albion. I think 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, if I'm right.
There's a bogey team if there ever was one.
It is indeed, yes, considering we obviously 2-0 up last season away. I was in Dublin watching that in Temple Bar. Very topsy-turvy first half.
So what do you think?
17:30 on Saturday.
So what do we reckon then?
Clearly, I think Nuno was having to rest folks for that one, particularly the fact we had just less, as I say, such a ridiculous amount of notice with regards to the amount of time that the amount of time in which the lads have had to recover post obviously Sunday and then today. I think we'll probably go fairly strong. I think we'll probably go as strong as we can be, and I think even if Brighton are a bit of a bogey team, they're a little bit inconsistent like us at the minute. I think we'll grab a win. I don't know what score. I'm not going to put a score on it. No, and obviously we are struggling for goals at the minute. But I think we'll hopefully bounce back. The next few games are not too shabby in terms of a run, in terms of Brighton, then Everton, then Palace in the Cup, and then obviously Tesco just up the road. But unless by miracle, I must say, are probably going down along with Blades at least. But it will be an interesting one. If we can try and break our duck against Brighton away, that would be fab. And I think, if we say get a striker in by the weekend, and maybe we can. Who knows? Obviously, we're quite tight to try and get something arranged by Friday and then in for Saturday. But we've seen stranger things in football.
I mean, you'll have COVID protocol I guess if it's like, say, Costa, who's going to Arsenal, by the way, not us, but
you never know in football. If he went to Arsenal, Chelsea fans would be livid, but that's modern football.
Well, I do. I need to apologize to all the Brighton fans, because I got them confused with Huddersfield a few moments ago, and I don't really care because same club. But
well, with Aaron Moy playing in both, it felt like it until he moved.
if I had to make a call, I would say that it's gonna be Neves dropped, Matinho, and first name on the sheet. No attacking threats, and we will lose 1-0. And we'll just lump the ball over to Traore on the right side, and he will be completely ineffective. His fault or not, that's what'll happen.
Bod?
Swish.
Oh,
Basketball, just so you know.
yeah, a little bit. It'll either be, as Alex says, if they line up with that defensive mentality of hoping to snatch a win against Brighton. But if we go out and actually look like we want to score more than 2 goals, I actually think we could go out and score 2 goals and play it through the middle on the ground instead of trying to lump it into the middle into Podence or whoever who's about 5'5". Anyone who's basically under 5.5 feet height in the middle. Stop trying to do that. Play it on the ground. Use the ball players that we've got to basically take the ball through them, run at them, and make it difficult for them and put balls across the box if you're going to have to do that, or just play it around the box and then some neat little balls in, with which we are more than capable to do. We did it on a couple of occasions tonight. If we do that, get tight. If that Wolves turns up, then we quite easily win it. If the Wolves that wants to try and sit back, invite their team on, and all that nonsense, then like Alex says, it'll be 1-0.
As with Burnley away, yes.
Hot take: no shots on target this weekend for Wolves. I'm going to double down.
At the end of an extremely depressing year.
Happy 2020.
Yeah.
Screw you, 2020. Or I won't say an expletive, but bleeping you, 2020, as John Oliver said on Last Week Tonight.
I don't think 2021's any better, but 2022 is looking up. So come on, guys.
Unless England win the Euros next year, Pavana still goes ahead.
It's coming home.
I
don't know. When does America get to play in the Euros for funsies? Come on.
Well, America.
Let us in. South America let us in.
Really, what you should really do is actually do what this country does and split itself up into its constituent parts and make a team out of each.
Fair enough.
There's my hot take. There's no such country as England, Scotland, Wales, or Northern Ireland.
I've heard this hot take many times.
And that's probably why we don't have a Team GB team at the Olympics, because it causes way too much controversy.
It is, and it shouldn't, because we live in the UK. We should have a UK team. Anyway.
It would be nice, yes.
That's quite hard. Political broadcast over.
Any other hot takes, I wonder, if there's anything I can think of, which is...
We won't sign a striker until sometime in February.
February 2022.
Yeah.
Well, we've got obviously until January. I think it's up until January 31st. I don't think the date has changed. I'll have to double check for curiosity's sake. But obviously it's going to be a crucial month. I think we will sign a striker. I mean, that'll be my top take. I don't know who. Don't know how we'll play it. Obviously, particularly with COVID and maybe Brexit stuff and whatever. But we will get someone in, and we know we need to get someone in, and maybe with someone.
Brexit is the reason I'm most skeptical.
I think it will be a last-minute Uncle George favour, because we've got desperate, because who we actually wanted won't either come to us or go to someone else.
Yep.
And then we'll be scrabbling around trying to get someone, and he'll basically find us someone just to cover 6 months.
Or maybe they'll call back
Costa's agent.
It is Jorge Mendes, as far as I'm aware.
Fair play, Bond.
There you go.
But I think my hot take is I think we'll get at least one striker in, and maybe another hot take. Maybe that I think we may get a bid for Traore. I don't know.
I would let him go.
I would.
I just don't think he fits us anymore. Whatever we're trying to do.
I do. I think we should utilise him more.
I do too, but
into a little Into other little bits, I think, before we end, just to say, firstly.
He's basically wearing like the pitch down, like the linesman is, just like running back and forth on just that one little strip. Like I don't know.
Oh, he was in the middle. Oh, I thought he was in the middle a lot today. He won a lot of headers, actually, strangely enough.
Yeah, not he. In fact, that was one surprising thing. He trying to really hold off his man behind him. Obviously, the way in which he brought down De Gea, and complete accidentally bringing down David De Gea, and took him down like a brick, like a brick of cheese had just been hit in De Gea's back, and it just flopped.
Yeah, he didn't play that up at all.
Yeah, it was a total accident. Total accident. Two other things just want to say before we end. But cheers, first of all, to Wolves Foundation for sending me, if we can show it on camera, this a worn training gear with number 6 on, I think from a couple of seasons ago. This jumper and a shirt and some shorts.
Did they wash it?
Yeah, it smells perfectly clean. Smells brilliant. Very comfy jumper as well, long sleeved. But I got that for my best social media post following the virtual Molyneux sleep out last month, which again is just so raised a lot of money for charity, which is phenomenal, over 14,000, Alex, which is fab. And then between the Wolves Foundation and the Good Shepherd here in the Good Shepherd Ministry in Wolves, and then also it just seemed on a very, very nice and high note. But the final member of the 66 World Cup winning squad, Mr. Ron Flowers, who runs a very successful sportswear shop in Wolves City Centre and has done for a long while, is finally going to get recognised for that part when the New Year's Honours list comes out tomorrow. It is expected he will get an MBE. And considering he's taken into his, I think, 86 or what to get, it is absolutely and wholeheartedly deserved. I'm still so surprised it's taken Her Majesty that long to recognise what he did. And in fact, he was a Wolves player who was part of a World Cup winning squad. And to know that he is the lad from Erdington has finally been given, finally going to be given that love is fantastic and just so well deserved. And
is that by the way, is that a Danny Bath shirt?
Well, it's Adidas number 6. It's Adidas number 6. It has number 6 on it. It doesn't have anything on the back. It just has the Adidas logo sticked on, and then the number 6, which obviously was Ryan Bennett, but maybe in training if anyone was wearing these, who knows?
It was me.
That would be a surprise, yes.
Well, there you go then. That about wraps everything up, really, and we'll be back on Saturday.
Have a safe and have a safe and as enjoyable New Year celebration, guys.
Guys, get drunk and be dangerous. Come on.
To avoid another lockdown.
Don't go out of the house. You can be
well, that's what we're going to be told. Well, that's what I'm probably going to be told tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're about to be grounded by Boris again. So what else can really be done? But hope all of you have a safe and as socially distant New Year celebration. And thank God 2020 come this time in 2 days is almost over.
Yeah.
Hellish.
So on that, I think we'll go and end it there. And if anyone wants to join us next time, you're very welcome. Goodbye all.
And see you at probably 8 o'clock on Saturday night.
Bye.
Here we are.